Hello. So I realize I'm the last session before coffee, so I'll try to make this very quick. So my name is Katya. You don't have to memorize my surname. It's way too long. I work for a company called Systemiq. We are wearing the investor hat today, but we're technically also a startup. We're just 2 years old. So I'll talk a bit about our model as a whole and then focus a bit more on the investment side, which is more relevant for today. So we're a mission-driven business that's focused on fixing systems. So there's a speaker earlier that highlighted the importance of thinking about the system as a whole when driving change, and that's really what we are about as a company. At the moment, we do that through three main activities: coalition building, what we call co-creating, and investing. And I'll talk a little bit about each. So coalition building is effectively the work that we do with large groups of corporates, large incumbents, and other institutions, getting them to align on a shared vision for change in a particular sector. So for example, we run something called the Energy Transition Commission, which is a group of, I think, about 45 corporates, I think some of whom are represented here today, and Systemiq effectively manages their interaction with each other, produces analytical research to help them kind of arrive at a shared vision for the energy transition. And we do a few of those things, and this really gives us kind of high-level access and gives us a chance to set the overall direction of change that we like to see. The middle category, in effect, is about advisory work, where we work with individual players and help them with their strategy. Originally, we worked mostly with large corporates, but increasingly, we're starting to also work with growth stage companies. So First Light Fusion, who presented earlier today, is actually one of our newest clients, and we're going to be working with them over the next few months to help them figure out what the kind of commercial opportunities of their technology and articulate that in an even more compelling way as they go to raise money. And finally, investing, which is sort of the hat that we're wearing here today, which is about early stage, seed and Series A investing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And so where we are today as a business, so set up in April 2016, we are profitable on the advisory side of our business, so we're growing and doing quite well. We're about 60 people now across 3 offices. We are in London, so our headquarters. We're also in Munich and in Jakarta. We're active across 3 sectors: energy, sustainable land use, and what we refer to as circular economy, where we mostly focus on plastic and materials at the moment. And as Jan mentioned, we've closed 3 investments and are kind of really actively getting going on the investment side in particular. And so on the investment side, effectively, the way we're set up is we're not technically a fund. We're a holding company that just has shareholders, most of whom are high net worth individuals that are sort of part of our ecosystem. We raised money from them about 12 months ago and really launched our activity last summer. And we target $1 to $2 million of initial investment, but we look to follow on as appropriate. We really like to co-invest. We don't want to do this alone. We don't think we can. So we're always on the lookout for good partners to work together with. At the moment, all of our companies are in the UK, but hopefully that will diversify a bit more across Europe and other geographies. But at the same time, we are sort of realistic about where our network actually is. We like sort of quick scale, asset-light type of businesses that have real disruptive potential and a real sustainable impact across the sectors that we're active in. And I would say what differentiates us maybe to some of the other people in the group is that we are a little bit like a corporate venture arm in the sense that there is a core systemic business, and the venture arm is part of that overall kind of strategy. So we're not a standalone VC. We don't have super strict kind of financial criteria. We don't have an exit time horizon, so we can be quite flexible. And we do have this concept of strategic fit with Systemiq, and that's something that we take very seriously. And probably most of the companies that we've turned down so far, we turned down for that reason rather than because the IRR wasn't high enough. So to assess that, we actually work very closely with the whole organization to figure out, okay, what is our vision for the sector? How can this company contribute? And how are we well placed to help them? So we don't want to just be a passive investor that is kind of lining up for all the same deals, but we want to go after opportunities where we can actually be helpful and where our network can be valuable. So as I said, kind of want to be very active, but play a minority role and work together with partners to whom we can be quite complementary. And I would say what I think we've heard back from entrepreneurs is what they value in us is a real genuine focus on the impact side. Like, we do take it seriously. It's not just sort of something we tick off at our investment committee. It is the reason we're here, and it is why we raise money, and it is probably the main thing that our investors expect from us. So that's sort of our overall approach, but I would say also that we want to be really flexible and sort of learn from everyone in the room and evolve some of these criteria over time as we see what works and where we can actually make the biggest difference. And in terms of our company so far, so we've made 3 investments. BioCarbon Engineering, which is a company that plants trees with drones. a company called Electron that's developing, their first product is a blockchain-based flexibility trading platform, but they're really setting out to kind of rebuild the energy system using blockchain. And finally, Upside Energy, who's a demand-side response provider. So I think I'm out of time, so I'm sorry, I promised to be quick, but I didn't manage. So if you have questions, I'm here today as well as my colleague Georgina, so please come find us in the break or tomorrow, and we're very happy to answer any questions or just generally meet you. So thank you.